Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished is often the phrase that comes to my mind whenever a missions trip comes to a close. And of course, it's very corny because it's a mission trip and a mission accomplished, something we say very often. When we say mission is accomplished, we're meaning to say that we have met our goal, right? That we have finished the race and that we have brought to fruition, right, the plans that we have prepared, or brought to fruition the seed that we have sowed. And so, yes, we had a mission when we headed out to Uganda. We knew that we were going to be there for 2.5 weeks. We knew that we were going to be working with hundreds of kids. We knew that we were going to be working at 3 different locations, and that we were going to be with my parents. I know exactly where we're headed. I know the roads that we're going to be traveling on. I know a lot of things about Uganda. We had a mission to really carry out some ministry that we had in plan in Uganda. In the same manner, I had a mission when I began ministering here at Cross, here at KCQ, as a very young and still young pastor here, 2019 February. I had a mission, and that mission is still ongoing. You all, I'm sure, have a mission in your life, something that you want to accomplish, right? Back in 2021, my mission was to get married, and in 2022, my mission accomplished. Praise be to God, right? Mission's still ongoing, by the way. Those of us, we know it. We're in the fight, yes. You know, we all have missions, and we are always trying to accomplish certain things in our lives. Yes, our Uganda team, we went out there with a mission, but we came to a certain point in our devotion. You know, every single day of our 2.5 weeks there, we read the daily Bible, and I'm really glad that Danny and Chloe, they mentioned daily Bible. I didn't tell them to, and it's pretty perfect that we are going into a new set of daily Bibles so you can buy it today. It was really, really special this one day, I think, where, you know, we worked really, really hard, and all the stuff that we did, VBS, games, and music, and body worship, and preaching, and all these different things, all of us, all 9 of us, came to an agreement. Maybe for the first time on the trip. We came to an agreement, guys, that we had accomplished nothing by that point in our trip. It wasn't us. It was Christ. It was God doing work through us. Though we were not skilled enough, though we were not qualified, though we didn't deserve any of the things that we saw, God was working through us, and He was the one accomplishing His goal. This word accomplished in the Greek is a very complicated word, so I'm not going to try to pronounce it today because I'm fumbling over my words anyway. But this word accomplished, it means to bring out a result, right? Bring out a result by doing something. So accomplishing something is not just passive. It's you're doing something to bring about a result. You have a clear goal, you know what you're doing, and you're doing something that you have prepared in advance to bring about a result. For sure, that was everyday work for us in Uganda. But not only in Uganda, but for you too, right? In your everyday life, you are doing something so that you can bring about a result. Whether that be money, or whether that be status, whether that be just your family or health or whatever it is, we all are working to do or bring about a result by doing something. We're all out there trying to accomplish something. I'm sure you have already done it in your mind, but what are you out to accomplish? What are you out to accomplish in your life? Apostle Paul, as he is writing this letter to the Romans, what he is out to accomplish is bringing about financial needs from churches in Macedonia, right, and Achaia. He's bringing these financial funds support to the poor in Jerusalem. right? He went over there to bring money, right, financial funds to Jerusalem. When we read this as the team in Uganda, we were like, wow, this is very much like what we are trying to do here, right? Yeah, you guys know, right? Like the car wash in the storm doesn't make any sense even now, right? What is it called? The Memorial Day, the picnic, fundraising, and the 3v3 basketball tournament, right? To come again next year, right? All that stuff. We brought a lot of financial funds, right? Not that that's the gospel, but we brought that as a form of aid to Uganda. We were like, wow, we're doing something that Paul did a long time ago, and this is something that we need to continue. We agreed. But even Paul is saying, I'm doing this. I'm going all the way to, back then, they don't have airplanes. Going to Macedonia and coming back to Jerusalem, that's really, really complicated stuff. That's a lot of days traveling. Paul was doing amazing work, right? And we felt oftentimes that we were doing amazing work too, right? We were tired. We were doing a lot of different things, meeting so many different people. And we know this to be true. I'm not just saying, just trying to sell the next mission trip, by the way, right? I'm not just saying that. It was true because we felt the enemy trying to scare us. The enemy was trying to distract and divide us. Not only was there a terrorist attack, by the way, it was very far from our school, and we weren't too worried about it. But that terrorist attack in a school in a very remote area called Kasese, right? Kasese in Uganda, where 41 children were killed. That happened literally within the day or two of us getting to Uganda. For sure, it scared. For sure, it distracted. Not only that, but there was some unspoken of in the testimonies at least, but there was some bickering, right, within our team. There were some divisions about to happen within our team that we had to mend together through some long prayer, right? There were some distractions too, right? For me, I was super, super distracted and disheartened, right? It was on the 22nd, I heard the news of Chloe's grandfather passing away, and we were grieving with her. The next day, I heard from Korea that my grandfather passed away. And that was of course, we love them to death, but for what we had set out to accomplish, it was distracting. The enemy was trying to distract. But the thing is, I think it was the grace of God that through his word, written 2,000 years ago by Apostle Paul to the Romans, through this text, that God was continuing every single day comparing the great work of Christ to the work that we were doing. He was putting right next to each other the work what we were doing with the great work that Christ had accomplished, to remind us that we are on the right path, to remind us that actually, even if we veer off the path just a little bit, what Christ has done, we cannot undo. What Christ is doing in Uganda, we could not distract. You see, I'm about to share this one SAT word that I learned a long time ago. Juxtaposition. You guys know that word? Juxtaposition, right? Putting next to one another to compare. I don't know if that's right, but I think so, right? Juxtaposition is a very important thing. It happened all the time as we were working in Uganda. What we were doing, VBS, was juxtaposed to what Paul was doing through Macedonia and Jerusalem, right? Try to stop saying that word. Is it the wrong word? People are laughing at me. I don't know. Comparing. Okay, I think it's right. I love my guitar, this guitar right here. But a long time ago, when I first started out learning guitar, I had a guitar by that brand Esteban, right? Esteban is like a Mexican like finger-picking guitarist who made his like own brand and started selling like beginner packages. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But then after that, I had that for like 8 years, right? It was a really bad guitar, but I had it for 8 years. And then after a while, after I thought that I had, accomplished some things or that I had proven to be a okay praise leader, right? I went and bought a guitar from a different praise leader, right? And it was a $210 guitar, right? It was a used guitar, and I was like, it was cool because he was a praise leader and I'm a praise leader. I'm buying it off of him. And then after a while, I was using that. It was really great. I loved that guitar. I named it Harmony, by the way. It's so cheesy. And then I went and bought another guitar, this guitar, when I started ministry here. And I named this guitar Melody. Sorry. But the thing is, when I had the guitar in my hand, Esteban, I loved it. But then when I set my eyes on something a little bit better, I realized, the guitar that I have in my hand is not that great after all, right? So I grabbed this other guitar and I started playing it. And then after a while, like this amazing, nice chapel, I'm like, I can't play this guitar. I gotta get a better guitar. And so I bought this guitar with money I didn't have, right? I made a credit card just to buy the guitar. But it's great, it's Melody. But the thing is, right next to each other, you could see clearly how great one guitar is compared to the other. And even Melody, as great as she is, right, compared to some other guitars out there that I'm looking at all the time, like some other guitars, like Pastor BJ had a really nice guitar, right? Next to that, I'm like, wow, even though this is great, this is greater. This is much greater. And of course, this is a silly illustration, but that was what's happening to us in Uganda, right? Yeah, the VBS work, right? The gospel preaching work was great. But compared to Paul's work 2,000 years ago, where he didn't have any technology, he didn't have maps, he didn't have anything. The work that he did, bringing financial funds from Macedonia and Achaia to Jerusalem, right? And preaching the gospel through these letters, reminding the churches all over Mediterranean Sea of the grace and the mercy and the amazing love of Jesus Christ. That was much greater than our work in Uganda. But more than that, all of our work was juxtaposed to the work of Christ. And the work that Christ had accomplished on the cross of Calvary was something we could not fathom. That's why Paul doesn't even use his own words to describe what's happening here. The gospel that Paul shares in Romans chapter 15:21 is from Isaiah 52, verse 13 to 15. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the screen for you, but Isaiah 52, 13 to 15, it says this: "Behold, my servant shall act wisely. He shall be high and lifted up, and he shall be exalted." This is talking about Jesus here. "As many were astonished at you, his appearance was so marred, beyond human semblance, and his form beyond that of the children of mankind." You see, what Christ has accomplished on the cross, where his appearance, you couldn't even make out who he was anymore. But he went through all that so that he would die on the cross for our salvation. That he would die on the cross for those who are undeserving. That he would die on the cross for his enemies, those who have been diseased with sin through and through. Christ's work accomplished next to our missions accomplished. Man, it was such a great, awesome sight. We worked really hard, by the way. We're so tired, right? Yeah, let's look at that picture. We're so tired. Look at this picture right here. It's coming. It's not coming? The amount of fatigue that I saw in our members, Like, I couldn't recognize some of them, right? Right? Of course, yeah. Maybe you can't see it very well, but like, that's Chloe dead, right? Chloe, you don't see their faces because they're like bent down. Josh, everyone. But the thing is, it's not just this day. Every time we got in the car, 10 seconds, they were so tired, right? These guys really worked so hard, right? But man, we all agreed, no matter how tired we are, no matter what kind of work we did, we all agreed that one night, Christ's work accomplished is so much greater. Our work is nothing. It's like an Esteban compared to Pastor BJ's guitar, right? It was really nothing compared to the work Christ accomplished on the cross. And brothers and sisters, this is the work accomplished that we can preach faithfully in our lives. That's the work accomplished that we can build our lives upon every single day. That's the work accomplished that we can trust in. That's the work accomplished, set forward by a God who doesn't lie. That's the work accomplished by a God who keeps promises. So brothers and sisters, not only the Uganda missions team, but all of us here at Cross Ministries, I pray and charge with the gospel of Jesus Christ, the powerful work of Christ accomplished on the cross for us. Let's today, as Cross Ministries, remember Mark 8:34, that we must deny ourselves, take up the cross, and follow him every day. That is our mission, not yet accomplished, but that is our mission given to us, commissioned to us by the Christ work accomplished already for us. So, will you decide today? Decide today to follow Jesus. Decide today to carry out his mission in your life. It doesn't have to be once a year that we collectively do missions together. Actually, it has to be every day in our workplaces, in our relationships, in our families, in our schools, with our classmates, with our colleagues, that we carry out the mission that Christ has given to us. Let's pray.